Hello, this is the DIS News for Friday, the 15th of February. My name is Megan Gillen, and I'm your host today. We start off today's news with an update on the campus shooting in Illinois. Northern Illinois University is on lockdown with the entire campus shut down and classes canceled due to Thursday's shooting. A former student opened fire on a classroom, shooting 22 and killing 5 before turning the gun on himself. The name of the gunman has not yet been released, but Police Chief Grady has announced that the gunman has no previous criminal record and there is no known motive. A candlelit vigil was held yesterday where students gathered to comfort each other. George has more information on the campus's reaction to the events.
Very serious and tragic news in the sports world today. In the aftermath of the shooting, Northern Illinois University canceled the sporting events of the weekend. In order to reveal the depth of the steroid problem in baseball, Senator George Mitchell was commissioned to file an investigative report. His report implied that New York Yankees pitcher Roger Clemens used performance-enhancing drugs during his illustrious career. Recently, evidence surfaced that Clemens may have been warned prematurely that he was named in the report. If the evidence is true, it would reveal corruption in the investigation as well as foul play from Clemens. Currently, Clemens and the man who allegedly tried to warn him, Brian McNamee, are testifying in front of Congress as Congress attempts to deliberate the truth. And that's the sports news for today. Back to Megan.
Let's take off the sportswear and put on a red carpet dress to see what the Oscar ceremony is promising us.
Hi everyone, I'm Yu Tao. Today we are going to take a look at the coming Oscar, and here we have a perfect expert on this, Paulina. Welcome, Paulina.
Hello.
Paulina, can you tell us something that you think make this year's Oscar different from the previous ones?
Sure. The hot issue this year is the scriptwriters' strike. So the screenwriters were arguing with the studio chiefs about the benefits from internet sales and downloads. And several award ceremonies, including the Golden Globes, cancelled their red carpet events. And so Oscar this year was under the same threat. And, you know, Oscar is the most glamorous event of the year. So it was terrible.
Yeah, that have drawn a lot of attention. And I know there are many surprises in the foreign film section this year. Can you tell us something more about this?
Yes. When the short list was released this year, we could see that one of the most discussed film of the year was missing, and it's the Romania's 4 months, 3 weeks and 2 days, which won Palme d'Or in Cannes Film Festival. That's a surprise.
Yeah. And I also heard that there are 2 Russian films nominated in the foreign film section. I think as a Russian you must have a lot to say about this.
Yes, I'm very proud to tell that a major surprise this year is Sergei Bodrov's Mongol, which tells us the story of Yan Chinggis Khan, and it's majorly shot in China. So as you see, it's an international project. Russian, German, Mongol, Kazakh, and also the Netherlands, Iceland and Finland are involved. So the second director fighting for the Oscar is Nikita Mikhalkov, and he won Oscar in 1994 with his film Burnt Under the Sun.
Thank you very much. Now let's go back to Megan.
And now we turn to what is happening in the Danish press. Today, the Friday prayers and the most important day of Islamic worship could be the determining factor in the response to the reprinting of the 2005 controversial Muhammad cartoons yesterday in Denmark. As of this morning, peaceful protests in the streets of Kuwait and the burning of the Danish flag have been the strongest response. An extremist Kuwait politician has proposed a complete economic and political boycott by the Middle East toward Denmark. This would be extremely hurtful to the Danish economy, considering the multi-billion kroner exports to the Middle East. The cartoons were originally printed 3 years ago by the newspaper Jyllands-Posten, creating Muslim riots throughout Denmark and attacks on Danish embassies. The decision to reprint the cartoons came after an assassination plot against the cartoonist was foiled by Danish police. Danish newspapers feel reprinting the cartoon is a statement of the freedom of press in Denmark, while the Islamic population, once again, feels this movement is offending and a violation of their beliefs. Now, we'll turn to our field team for a special feature about safety issues facing nightlife in Odense.
Denmark's third largest city, Hans Christian Andersen's birthplace, and now the home of an exciting party scene. But is the growing nightlife creating positive or negative changes for this historically quaint city? Do you think the nightlife is growing in Odense in the last few years?
Well, it has become more violent, but I don't think it has grown, not that much. but the violence has increased several. Yeah.
How so? What kinds of violence?
Normally bar fights, drunk arguments, gone a little bit too wild, I guess.
Oh, if you watch TV and so on, you often hear about Odense and Arkaden being the most dangerous place in all Denmark. But
there's a fight every Friday and Saturday night over at the arcade and down the street. And there's always police cars standing around and waiting because there's always a fight.
yes, but still, I live 500 meters down there. I wouldn't go home alone at night.
Odense is particularly a violent place in Denmark as comes to violence in the nightlife. But I don't think that Odense has become more violent the past month. I think maybe the last 5 years it has become more violent than when I started in the corps. But it's still pretty safe. They are putting up a lot of cameras in the bars and put up more lights so it's not so dark in the bars, and more people in security and stuff like that.
By taking the necessary precautions, coupled with increased safety measures, tourists and Danes alike can enjoy Odense nightlife.
The team tried to speak with employees at Arkaden, but they declined to comment. A not-so-sweet surprise for students at an elementary school in Florida when their Valentine's Day treats turned out to be sugar-covered metal. Sherwood Brands of Maryland recalled lollipops imported from China after metal was detected in some of the candy. One student found a staple baked inside his piece of candy, while a woman in a nearby town reported what appeared to be part of a razor blade in a lollipop of the same brand. Authorities issued a safety advisory, and the Dollar General chain pulled the product from its more than 8,000 stores nationwide. So, if you're receiving any Valentine's Day lollipops from your sweetheart, you better take a closer look. Now for a look on the bright side with the weather.
Thank you, Megan. In Northern Europe today, the weather is generally cold, about -6 degrees. It is cloudy. In northern Germany and lower Denmark should expect some rain. We are experiencing mild winds from the north. It seems that spring is almost upon us. There is a warm front gradually coming in from the west, warming us up over the weekend with temperatures of about 6 degrees Celsius. So put away your heavy coat. Today's weather question comes from Eliza in London. Eliza asks, why are sunsets red? Well, Eliza, sunlight is made up of different colors of light, each with a specific wavelength. The sun's rays pass through the longer path of the atmosphere during sunset and through tiny particles known as aerosols. The aerosols affect the wavelengths, and that is why you see red. So that's it for today, folks. Get out there and enjoy a beautiful weekend. Back to you, Megan.
For some entertainment news, we start off in the U.S. This Valentine's Day, Sheriff Ron Bateman delivered presents such as gift baskets to a dozen Baltimore, Maryland residents. Unfortunately, the surprise didn't end there. The delivery service targeted and arrested people who failed to appear in court. Pop star Britney Spears hits the stage again. Her life has been adapted into a British ballet called Meltdown. It premiered February 1st in London at the Queen Elizabeth Hall. The ballet includes scenes of Spears escaping the paparazzi and shaving her head. It appropriately finishes with her character being led out on a stretcher. And in Japan, competitive eater Kobayashi, who led the world record for hot dog eating for 6 years, announced his retirement Thursday. With a career spanning 30 years, Kobayashi said, "My physical gifts, including my God-given ability to ingest food, are still there, but my passion for it is not." And that's it for our news today. From all of us here at Brandts DIS Copenhagen News, thank you for joining us.